everybody. Welcome to the bonus content of Workforce, a podcast that blends behavioral science and practical insights to give you better insights on what is going on in the world of work. We talk about unusual topics, and today is no different. It is Corporate Stockholm Syndrome. In particular, in this segment that you're tuned into, I am talking to Jess Audsley about what to do if you experience Corporate Stockholm Syndrome, and she's recommending disengaging. Let's have a listen to what she has to say.
And if you kind of think about the other reasons that people might stay, if you can imagine somebody who really likes some aspects of their role. So it sounded like actually when you were in the job that you described, that you really liked the content of the job, but just not necessarily the culture. And if they don't want to leave for that reason, what advice could you give them to survive so that they don't have the kind of well-being declines that you experienced?
I think you put up boundaries for yourself. I think one of the things that I did as I went in that role wholeheartedly, wanted to change, took a lot on, had a lot of output. And initially, I actually kind of had two roles until I pointed out to my manager, which he actually for once listened to, that my role was actually two roles and it was kind of scaled down. So I think putting in those boundaries of surviving in the sense that I won't engage. I see that this is happening. I'm drawing a line here because it's all about emotional engagement. If you engage in that toxic culture too much and you become a part of it and it is hurting you, then you need to start drawing lines to survive, to draw boundaries for what you give. And it's a road to burnout, I think, if you don't draw boundaries in work culture in general. So in a toxic work culture, I think it's really, really important to draw those boundaries for yourself mentally and what you give and don't give, as it were.
Is it obvious to people that they have corporate Stockholm syndrome? So if I'm listening and they're kind of identifying with some of the things that you're bringing up, how would you be able to diagnose corporate Stockholm syndrome?
I think that when you're in it at its most kind of central core, you're unable to see it. So you have this kind of blinkers on your eyes because you're essentially a part of it. And maybe it's a survival thing as well. So you're adapting. So I can't change anything. And I recognize that. So maybe I just adapt to it and become a part of it. Or maybe it's not even that conscious that you actually just become part of it. And then when the blinkers are off, you can see it for what it is. So I think the answer is no there, but it's not easy when you're in the middle of it to see it. So it requires a little bit of work on yourself as well, and perhaps taking a step out and actually looking at the culture and saying, is this really where I am comfortable in terms of my values as well? Because I think the younger generation now, so I'm 48, so I think the younger generation, they are really realizing this, that they don't really adapt in the same way. I think it's more common with corporate Stockholm syndrome around kind of this age than it is in the younger generation. When I work with them, I see that they're very aware of their own values, of their own mission. And when that clashes, your own values with a culture, then you have signals straight away that this is probably not going to work out and this is not going to be for me. So it's hopeful. I see changes happening in the younger generation, which makes me very happy.